I'm often asked by students, why are we looking at logo design when this is a web design class? Shouldn't that be a completely different subject? And in some ways, yes, but the way we're going to look at it, no. That it actually is intertwined with web design, and it will help you going through this process of creating a logo will help you understand who your clients, your audience, and your users are. So let's get into it. Now, first of all, web designers are often called upon to provide some support in logo design and page layout. Many businesses have to have a website and may have older logos, logos that just seem out of date, need to be refreshed or updated. And since they're already working with a web designer, they will ask for help here. So even though it's not the primary task of a web designer to create a logo, it still is something that you might do. Secondly, though, and this is the more important point for this class, the process of creating a logo will help you understand more about your client and your ideal users, the consumers who will be visiting the website. Now, let me just be clear about what our lessons in logo design are not. I am not giving you detailed lessons in graphic design. If you're an on-campus student, you can take art classes, graphic design that uses Illustrator, or a graphic design class that teaches Photoshop. That would be Arts 220 or 230, and you can take those if you want to be someone who is going to be a professional logo designer. So I am not taking you to that level. It is going to be a much more smaller scale than that. What it is I'm going to teach you a process about logo design. We're going to play with the process a bit, and then you're going to create your own logo. And all of the details about the process and the assignment of the logo, those will be given later in a different video, but just know that we're going to be doing those things. The first thing we want to think about if we're going to be creating a logo is to start with the purpose of the organization, your client. So who is your client? What is the brand personality? Is this a client who is about fun and excitement, adventure, or are they about formality and sincerity? Are they someone who wants to be kind of authentic, salt of the earth, farmer type of personality? What is it? So figure out about your client, what do they want to convey to their consumers? And then who is the ideal consumer or customer user? Who is going to be using this brand? And so this is where in a different unit we created customer profiles, consumer profiles. Those are your ideal consumers, so you've thought about them. And so we already know a bit about them, which is great. And when I mention here, who is your client, what is the brand personality, we will talk about this a bit more in a next video, which will walk you through the logo design purpose. And then we have to figure out who are the competitors, because we're going to want the materials that we create, whether it be for a logo or for the website, we want to be within kind of a milieu, a nice center of where everyone else is in this industry. So I don't want my logo to look radically different from everyone else, or it's possible that if a user sees a Google search result and they see my logo and they're like, ooh, like that's not at all the kind of place I want to look at for buying seedlings. Then they're not going to visit your webpage. So we have to think about these things. And you'll look at competitors and logos in another assignment as well. Now, I want you to think about church logos as we get into this, because I want to show you a number of church logos and kind of talk about how this should inform something about the personality of the church. All right, so I'm going to show you a set of 3 logos, I think, at first. Let's get them here. All right, here we go. So we have three logos, and these are three very different types of, logos here that we are not looking uh, at churches that are looking to bring in the exact same group of congregants. They're looking for different people. So if we look at, say, the Harvest Church, this is a contemporary design here. We have the graphics that are kind of bold yet simple. We have the large use of the harvest in a very traditional font, and then the script is smaller. And so we understand that the harvest is the important idea. This seems like it might be an active church. Also, even just the fact that the church is slightly on an angle, kind of moving forward, almost like, a moving car. That all tells me this is a church that probably has families. It probably has young families, also families with people in middle and high school, and I'm sure we have some who are younger and older than that, but this looks to me like a logo where they're really wanting to get families coming into this church. So that's what that logo is telling me. The faith ministry is very different. We are going for a female demographic here. We are using the types of imagery, the flowers and the colors, the white with the sages, and there's a tiny little bit of turquoise that's in there as well. And we are drawing in a female demographic here. Here, they're not trying to bring in the dad to a 16-year-old boy. That person is not going to be drawn to this particular logo. So the logo is telling us something about who they want to come to their services. Then let's look at this other one, Trinity Presbyterian Church. And here we have the filigree work, kind of Celtic, that's here. And this tells me it is a traditional church. This is one where we're going to have some more formality to it. So I might expect that they're going to have liturgy. They might have a choir that's in robes. We're probably not going to have people with their hands raised dancing in the aisles. Based on this logo, it would tell me that it's a different type of church. All right, let's look at three more and kind of talk about what these logos tell us about churches. So here we have Rock Point Church, and this is another one similar to Harvest Church that I think would be targeting families. And there's a couple reasons for this. So we have this idea of Rock Point, and the shapes are very subtly kind of like having these points in it, almost like a mountain, and these different levels. And so it's almost like at the bottom left corner we have the small kind of brownish, kind of like a little kid, and then it's a little bit bigger, a little bit more colorful, so maybe like a teenager. And then we get a little bit more comfortable. This is more like so we get a high schooler. But we go on and we're getting larger, we're getting more colorful, more vibrant, the bigger it gets. So to me, this is a church that very subtly is trying to encourage people and looking at growth. And also the little arrow in the circle that we have there, that little icon, again, that's kind of directionality and moving forward. So again, I kind of get an idea of who they want to come to this church. Now we go to this next one, and I have to say this one does confuse me. I feel like our designer tried to do too many things at the same time for this particular logo. I'm not entirely sure who they want coming to this particular church. In some ways, it kind of feels like this is a logo I might want to use for a kids ministry, maybe. So I don't think I'd want it for an entire church, but it kind of strikes me like something that, like, kids guides, like navigating kind of thing, but it has so many ideas in here, it just feels more kid-like, whereas if it's for an adult audience, I feel like we needed to take some of these elements out. So for example, we have the circles around the cross and with the spokes coming out of the circles, and there's two different possibilities for what this is supposed to represent. One could be the sun for sunshine, and kind of S-O-N. So we could have the sun. It could also be like on a large ship, I don't know, like a pirate ship. You think of the wheels that the captain's at and doing. So it could be a wheel, so navigation device here. And inside of the circle, there's a set of lines that are going diagonally through or behind the cross. And I'm not exactly sure what those are, but I'm thinking they might be sunlight streaking through, maybe. So it's a lot of images we have here. I'd probably take some out and make it a little bit more refined, but that's just me. And this last one, faith connection. And let me ask you, what do you think? Who's being drawn to this particular church? One of the things you notice is they've used lowercase letters on faith and then uppercase letters on connection, which is interesting because usually we think of the name of the church being a little bit more, I don't know, substantial or larger. You'll notice a lot of the other ones have at least used a capital F, because we have Faith Ministries up above, and they used a capital F. The rest of, so it's interesting that they did this. So maybe, I don't know, what do you think? Would this appeal, again, to families? Would this appeal to somebody older? Would this be a formal, informal church? It's for you to figure out. But these are I just wanted to bring these to you to talk about how logos can inform our web design. Because I think this is just such an important idea that we need to be creating the type of logo that will appeal to our clients, our users, and also, so that will be appealing to our clients, that will express who they are, what their brand personality is, and that will let our users, our customers, or in this case, our participants or congregants, let them know what this particular organization is about. So this is why we're talking about it, is to understand more about your client and your users. Now, before we begin your process of designing, a few things I want you to think about. We're going to begin with the sketch process, and I want you to consider using fairly simple shapes and structures. I don't want you to try to get overly complicated, overly extravagant in what you're designing. In fact, I'm going to encourage you to consider only using a word mark. So there are only letters or words in your logo, and I'll show you some examples in a few minutes. You'll be learning the Figma software in this particular unit if you're taking this class online, but you're not going to create the digital version of the logo until we are in another online unit. So you're going to learn the software now, but you're not going to know enough to do that this unit. And even when you know enough to do it in another unit, you're still not going to be able to execute a really complex logo. So as you're thinking about logos, let's try to keep it fairly straightforward. Now, if you have a website that you want to work on, and let's say you have a client, if your client already has a logo, that's okay. You can use that on the website. But for the purpose of this online class, I still want you to design another one, even if you know the client isn't going to use it. So we're still going to design a logo, go through the entire process. And remember that the main goal of this assignment is to understand the users and the needs of the client and be thinking about this before we actually design the web page. So that's the point here. And so even if your client has a logo, we're still going to do it so you have the same understanding. So the process you go through to create the logos will give you insight. So we're still going to do it. All right. In Unit 3, you are going to be practicing creating logos in Figma following some tutorials that will be provided to you. So here's an example of the types of logos you might have in the next unit that you'll be following along with directions and creating these logos along with a video. So you'll learn how to do things like joining letters together. You'll learn how to kind of make shapes here. You'll learn how to divide, how to put stripes and things, and you'll learn how to use icons or some type of image within it. And so you'll see there's some amount of manipulation we have to do in Figma. So it's not as easy, some of them, as they look. It's not like we just took an H and K and just made that K really close to it. We'll have to do a little bit of magic to make it work. But those are the types of things that you'll be practicing on. And then I just wanted to give you some examples of logos that other Lee students have created in this class. And so you'll see there's a lot that have word basis to it. So some are just initials here, and so these are just all that they made. And this one up here I thought was interesting. As she went through the process, you'll learn through the process we do more than one. And this was her first one that she did. It was a recipe website, but she ended up with this being her final logo. Let me give you one more set of examples that students created in this class. So we have all of these examples here that people have created. So as you're going to be working through the next process and starting that process of creating logos, first with sketches, try to think simple, like these types of things. These are all things that were very doable within the space of this class. Try not to get too complicated. All right, the next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to watch the video that will be discussing the process of logo design.